Yeah, you guys just missed all the gold. I mean, the conversation we're having around Discussions app and some of the different tools and stuff, and I'm just going to get Jacques to repeat everything you just said in like
Yes.
exactly, which of course will never happen. That's one of the rules we now have for my moving forward podcast is the second that Rio and I get on together, I have to hit record. And sort of just creates like outtakes and stuff like that because we always miss stuff. Like it's always, you just end up having
on the moving forward podcast as well. Like I've been following Andrew Yang quite a bit. I haven't been very vocal about it, but I think like a lot. I think I'm surprised no one in the EOS community is very kind of actively talking about Andrew Yang because like universal basic income.
Yep.
He's a technologist. He's
data ownership, like smart rules around cryptocurrency. Like the thing we do with that podcast is to cover all his actual policies. He actually understands blockchain in a way that literally none of the other candidates do. Like definitely none of the Democrats. And honestly, like Trump barely knows how to tie his own shoes. So definitely not him. Although, I mean, and this is the thing, like people like Facebook and even the people from EOS went to his administration. Trump is useful because he literally doesn't fucking know. Like you can just go and tell him his hair looks nice that day and he'll give you whatever you want. So there's that.
Yeah, I would love to talk politics sometimes.
Yeah, man, that'd be great. And honestly, like bringing what you're doing with Discussions app to the moving forward community would be fantastic as well. Rio would not know what hit him. That would be really fun.
UBI token.
I mean that like I would love to be able to understand the gamed out. That was one of the most fascinating things to me with Schipul trying to game out how to do the tokenomics, right? What is the rollout going to be like? What's the value proposition? What are the macroeconomic forces that will be on this thing once it's out in the universe? And so that is always something that I think about a lot with UBI, especially now that Andrew Yang's actually made it this thing that is a real plausible thing. Like you're not going to get UBI out of the conversation now. So consider yourself booked. Let's totally do that. And like talking about politics and technology on the hashtag coffee show, we do a lot of politics, but I actually do a lot of tech. I mean, we're on that page right now, right? Like this is sort of the catch-all thing for everything that I'm doing. I am going to be doing a lot of standalone interviews with people in the cryptocurrency space because I'm deeply effing fascinated with it. And I've been talking to Jacques about the EOS Discussions app for quite a while. Basically, like since about 10 minutes after I learned what EOS was, we've been chatting about that. So cool. Yeah, you're going to come on all my other shows. That's great. Awesome sauce. And to promote, we got a huge launch date, the 27th. Discussions app is launching out of beta with a bunch of new features. So maybe tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the main thing is just to make it look nicer and is to make the user experience better.
Okay.
Because again, back then, Discussions.App, you needed to have an EOS account, and that was a huge limiting factor. I remember, trying to walk one of our users through how to sign up EOS account because they want to use our application, and it just took an hour. It's like it was incredible because there's a lot of these very stupid things that are in EOS. Like I love technology, I love the features, but
right.
Like for one, we were trying to get CPU, but you can't get CPU if you don't have CPU to get CPU.
Yep.
It's like it makes no sense
at all.
That same thing applies to EOS accounts. Like you can't get an EOS account if you don't already have an EOS account.
Yeah,
it's madness. It's like this makes no sense. So what we did is we built our own solution so that we take care of all these like really strange things that happen in the back end. And Unify ID is just like, okay, you sign up through our platform, you get this brain key that is translated into public and private key pair that you could use to post, to host tokens, to hold tokens, and to make transfers, which I think covers the needs of 95% of EOS users.
Right.
So,
yeah, that's and so I want to say a few things about this. So basically, like after meeting you. And obviously, like, I am not a dev in any way, shape, or form. I just had this idea where we could make a token that was at least as valuable in being used as Ripple, and the bar was really, really low, and that was really funny. And so that was the initial energy around how that project started. So I'm like, well, I'm just gonna learn how to do that. So I read like a couple articles and a couple how tos or whatever, and the there were a few people in the EOS community that just kind of, I felt like they were going out of their way to just help me, do specific things. And Jacques, you were totally one of them. And I really, really appreciate that, because now I'm completely out of my depth, which is really fun. But no, so we got the token out there, and the community started developing really, really quickly. And we were doing airdrops. So I'm trying to figure out how to do airdrops without having a PhD in freaking computer programming. And I found the EOS Discussions app where there was a tip button, right? And that tip button basically let me send it, because if you can send it to one person, that's great. If you can send it to one person and control paste, send it to two people, well, now you can make a spreadsheet and just have all the EOS accounts and send it out there. So we figured out very quickly that you can only do 250 of those comments at a time, or poor EOS Discussions app would break, which is something that I found out.
A very early iteration of discussion.
Right. I was trying to do 1,000 at a time. Yeah, it was never designed for that, right? Like, it was just something that some asshole, me, was trying to make it do. But it still was a million times faster than trying to do one at a time. Right. So when we did our initial airdrop, when our Facebook group hit 1,000 people, we did an airdrop of 1 million triple out to all those 1,000 people. And it took me 5 minutes. Right. Like, I had it all in a spreadsheet. Like, that data collection and stuff takes some time, but it was really, really fast. And so my understanding now is that, you need having people need to buy an EOS account was definitely a barrier for Schipul in the beginning. That's something that we're going to talk about. And obviously the CPU thing is really a problem now. But so maybe talk about that just as a jumping off point, right? So as a token community, I had to tell people, okay, you have to go spend between $2 and $7, whatever it is, to buy this EOS account so that I could send you this token. And that was kind of an element of friction. So what have you guys done around that?
Well, the Unify ID addresses that problem. Like, as soon as you register for a Discussions account, you can start holding tokens. And maybe some of you, would watch the video that we had on how to get a Discussions account. Yep. The whole process takes about a minute and a half max.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit lower, maybe a little bit less. And then after you get that, it just like, if Corey wants to send you some Schipul, so okay, well, just give me your Discussions Unify ID, and then he can send it to you, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's so much faster than having someone to create EOS account.
Right. So basically, I can airdrop it out to everybody. They don't have an EOS account yet. Now, down the road, when people want to, if it gets on a decentralized exchange, or it gets on an exchange or what have you, then you would need an EOS account to convert it to that and send that out into the larger ecosystem or whatever, right? Are you guys planning on doing anything around having people in the community being able to send their tokens to each other?
Oh yeah, for sure. You could do that right now.
Okay, awesome. So, like, as an example, Sue Gentry, who's one of the meme creating superheroes in the Schipul community, it's like the kind of like a middle-aged kind of grandmotherly figure who is fierce in the meme game. She's one of my favorite people. Anyway, so she definitely doesn't, she's not a techie. She's not gonna fucking figure out how to go do CPU. I'll tell you that right now. That will not happen, and neither should it. So she gets an account on this. I do. Hey, how the hell are you guys doing? We're doing a Schipul airdrop to everybody who shows up, which for the record is going to be happening over sometime in the next month. And then she's like, okay, Rob comes in and creates a meme. I want to tip Rob for that meme, right? Which is one of the things that we had really going on. So without having an EOS account at all attached to this, she's going to be able to send some shill from her account in EOS Discussions app to Rob's account in EOS Discussions app.
Definitely.
Beautiful. Now, what about from her account to Rob's EOS account?
Definitely possible as well.
Okay, awesome. I mean, that today. See this, so I know that what you guys are really going for this niche. But honestly, like, I keep thinking about, and I'm thinking about it selfishly. I keep thinking about it in terms of, really leaning into building the kind of environment that honestly, like the Shipple community desperately needed, right? Like we were in Facebook and we were doing everything manually, right? Whether it's comments or whether it's doing missions and having people shield and then telling them that they got shielded. And so like what was like a 5-step, 6-step, 7-step thing, I can totally see happening within your guys' platform, as features start to come out. And it's not, all these things will iterate over time, but where it's just like a one-click event.
Yeah, yeah. And I also want to just two things I want to add to the conversation. That eventually people are going to need an EOS account if you don't want to, well, one, if they want to send to exchange, or they just want to hold it, they want to get an EOS account to maybe do some other things, right?
Sure.
We're actually working on a solution that token project creators could deposit a little bit of EOS or, partner tokens if we accept them, so that let's say a Shipple, a shield holder could convert the shield into an EOS account using the same key that they created on discussions, and it's going to be one-click event as well.
Wow.
So you could exchange your shield in that you have earned through community participation and earn an EOS account instead of having to like pay for it, with your credit card and with
that's incredible. So, and again, we would have to have. I kind of feel like we would need to have Shill on as an example. I know there are others that make more sense, but it would have to be on an exchange probably, right? Because you guys would have to be able to have at least a little bit of liquidity, to pay for it.
Yeah. So we have to pay for the EOS account, but we could also create it doesn't have to have liquidity. What we could do is, if the token project like, okay, I'm gonna put 20 EOS there specifically for people to exchange the shield to create an EOS account. So you kind of provide that liquidity.
So I could fund it in the background. That's interesting. Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Make it a little bit easier because we can't really tend to every single token project if as we grow.
Right.
So we want to have these solutions that kind of like self-serve solutions, kind of like airdrop. Like in the beginning, what I did was I helped a lot of token projects do airdrops, but it was not scalable. So what we did was, you did the whole tipping thing. It was like, okay, this is great. People are using this feature. Let's build it into something that someone without technical knowledge could actually use it. Because like we have Jenny working, our social media platform. Like if ideally she would handle airdrop as well, but she doesn't know a single line of code. She doesn't know command lines. Like it's hard for someone to do airdrop that doesn't know that. And I just want to say that I have worked with people who do airdrop professionally, and the cost is quite high. Like I remember someone, not gonna name any names, pay 500 EOS to do an airdrop. 500, that's we made it faster, cheaper, easier.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's I mean it's a lot of work that we just did as a community for ourselves, but I get it. Even the RAM cost on the airdrops is not trivial. Okay, so we're doing the event on the 27th, and I think what we're planning is we're going to do a whole bunch of live stuff, and I'm going to be doing some live interviews with if we can book them with the people that are partnering with you for this event. I'm actually really, really excited about that. Especially the one you said is not 100% confirmed yet, but might be confirmed is Boyd. Yeah. Let's talk about that last, because I might want to talk about them for a while. So who are some of the other projects that are partnering with you that for the launch day?
So I'll start with Blockbase, because to me, I think they're doing something very interesting, and but they don't get as much love from the community. Maybe Blockbase is an EU-funded token project, and that's a big deal because, as far as I know, they are one of the very, very few selected projects that got cryptocurrency projects that got funding from the EU. Usually, you don't see governments, funding these type of projects, especially not if the tokens out on the open market, which they are. So Blockbase, their tokens BBT, you could find them on Nudex. So what they're building is they're building a privacy database on top of the blockchain. I'm not going to go into detail of exactly how it works. I think you could probably ask Ricardo on Monday for the interview. But yeah, they're one of the very exciting projects we're working with. We're actually working with them to develop an ambassador program where users could come and create memes or create images and whatever, and take advantage of our unified ID system, and you could kind of automate those kind of contests. So again, what I did before is I ran Twitter contests, and it's like I'll make a meme with hashtag Shipple, and whoever gets the most likes or comments or retweets will get 1,000 Shipple or whatever, right?
Right.
So that had
Same
that
kind
had
of
to
thing
be
we were doing.
Yeah, exactly. That had to be done manually, and I'm sure you
Yeah.
know that it
Yeah.
takes a while.
3 solid months of work, and I had to hire somebody to help me. Yeah, it's some work.
Exactly. So we're gonna turn that process. We're gonna take that process just like we take the airdrop process, and we're gonna automate everything so that you do your contest post, you set all the parameters, and it will kind of run itself. And the ambassadors, when they post their memes, they would, after they connect with their Twitter account, which is, I didn't say this is something I haven't brought up before, but our platform actually integrates other social media accounts.
That's smart.
Yeah. So they would post a tweet, and then the whole thing would be automated, and the score would be calculated in the back end, and the payout would be automatic as well. So the whole thing.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I get this. Okay, so we're in the Shipple community, but again, any tokenized community, you can do this or whatever. That's just how I understand it for myself. So we're in there, and I set a mission. Okay, we want memes not here on Twitter.
Yeah,
right.
on Twitter.
Right. So you're going to post a meme on Twitter, and with XYZ hashtag, right?
Yeah.
And that system would be able to read the post on Twitter with that hashtag, and it's going to be able to tell which one has the most likes and or retweets, whatever, however we calculate it. And so at the end of whatever time, that one has won, and it will automatically pay out because that person's Twitter is connected to the winner's account on Discussions app. So it's just like fire and forget, basically, right?
Exactly.
That's tight. I mean, that's, yep.
That's going to reduce your workload from 3 months to maybe a day.
Right. But I can also, like, the different ways that we did missions too. Because I know we were talking about this, months ago when we were sort of brainstorming around what these things could look like. And that's actually an order of magnitude with the Twitter connection better than what was in my head. But even just, so there's times where, okay, we're in our Facebook group, and we're like, hey, everybody just post your meme. Anybody who posts a meme gets, 1,000 shill. And, whoever gets, we would do polls or whatever. But like just that. Or even like go out and retweet this, come back and do that. But the retweet thing, that could be automatic too, right? If you're reading a Twitter API, you should just be able to, if account A retweeted post B, then that could probably just pay out, right?
Yeah, well, I haven't thought of that, so I have to think how that will work, because there's different levels of Twitter API access.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the full thing is we get your permission and we could do everything on your Twitter.
Right.
So if we take it to the extreme, what you could do is, here's this post. There's a retweet button after you connect with your Twitter account. It will retweet on your Twitter, and then keep track of everything.
Right.
I think that's kind of along the lines of what you're thinking. We're not there yet. We're essentially, when we connect out to their Twitter account, they know points. Yeah.
For your Twitter account, couldn't you see the list of people that retweeted one of your tweets?
Yes.
Okay. So just from that list, you could then see Twitter account on that list is connected to account on Discussions app. Payout.
That's actually, I haven't.
Thanks. I'm here all day. We're good.
Yeah.
Anyway, just an idea.
Actually.
All right. I love it when I'm useful, because I have imposter syndrome every day in the cryptocurrency space, because all you guys are freaking geniuses. Anyway, but my whole point to that is that once you've got the version of that ambassador mission, right? There's an infinite number of possible types of missions, and you could keep just adding them. You could keep iterating that. So like that, watching where you guys are at right now, I'm super excited for that. I really, really am. But I'm way more excited about what you guys are planning on doing. So could you maybe talk about, how you guys kind of see tokenized communities starting to happen? And it seemed to me like you guys are planning on being a central node in that network. Like, can you maybe elaborate on that and explain it so that it makes sense?
Yeah, sure. So a lot of people think that Atmos is an EOS project. That's not entirely accurate. So Atmos origin actually started before EOS. we had our own blockchain that we'll be maintaining. But after some internal discussions, it was just that the security model of running our own blockchain is a lot, it's high risk compared to like a big blockchain like EOS. So we
Right.
decided to move our token to EOS, but that's not our end goal. Our end goal is not to be a token on the EOS network.
Okay.
What we want to do with discussions and the Atmos is to build a second layer network that connects all the other blockchains. So starting with EOS's chain, so like TLOS, Lynx, and Wax, perhaps other blockchains. We're gonna make a second layer solution that's Atmos DB, and that's gonna connect to all these different blockchains so that you could use unified ID, and you could use Atmos. You could hold Atmos tokens, and the tokens that we support on Atmos DB on all those different blockchains. So you will have one public-private key pair that is holding EOS, Shipple, Atmos, TLOS, Bitcoin, Ethereum, all the different cryptocurrency tokens out there. And it's going to be easy to use, and you're going to be, you don't have to worry any of the technical details.
It's almost like, so now with Scatter, for example, right? You get Scatter, you plug in different keys for every single thing, right? So you have to trust them with all the different keys. That's the one thing that we're talking about in the little short we did about unified ID. It's basically one key pair, and the ultimate access to that is that brain key, which is just a list of words or what have you, right? That's only on your computer. You guys don't even have that, right? So it's that's interesting to me, and I think for the sort of the diehards of the cryptocurrency space, I think they're going to find that very, very interesting. And quite frankly, I think like noobs and everyone else are going to find that interesting down the road when they realize what that means, right? It's going to be good.
You brought up a good point that maybe I don't emphasize enough, is that the unified ID, like, it's not like a traditional social media account where if the server is storing a copy of your password, and you have your copy, and if you forget your password, you can ask Twitter or whatever to recover your password.
Right.
It's a little bit different in that because your account is tied to cryptocurrency, and cryptocurrency is money.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to be responsible if you, let's say someone took your laptop or whatever, so,
right,
or about database gets breached. So we don't keep a copy of that. So that key pair, the private key pair, is stored on your laptop that only you could access locally, and is password protected. It's encrypted with the password that you use during the registration of the website. So,
yeah, that's going to end up being I think really important. And it's an interesting point that I hadn't thought of. Like, you guys are actually also removing any legal liability you guys have. So, which is smart. I think that's something that we need to be considering for kind of the new paradigm that's taking shape. I would recommend. So I use LastPass for my keys. That is, it's like an online password keeper, right? And the for users, for end users, there are ways to be like ultra hyper, on an air gapped machine, doing all sorts of things to protect your private keys. If you have like $10 million worth of cryptocurrency, look that up. For people that are, just coming into the, cryptocurrency space, back up your fucking private key. Back up your fucking private key. Even if you have to email it to yourself, go to Proton Mail, which is encrypted email yourself, your private key, or put it in LastPass, which is what I do, because the number of people every single day that call me and say, hey, listen, I lost my private key, or my phone, got lost, which is where a lot of private keys live for mobile wallets or whatever. Like, what do I do? Nothing. You can't do anything. If you don't have your private key, it's just gone. It's like you had cash wallet money in your wallet and you burned it. So back up your freaking private keys. Okay, rant over. That's it.
I don't know how to do. Yeah, like
that's
not a flaw of the system. That's just
it's right.
That way.
Right. Like if you lost all your personal information and the bank was like, we can't tell who you are, right? The bank's not going to give you any money, and that's what this is, right? It's an important part of this that people just need to learn, right? However you choose to back it up, great, but back it up.
Yeah, I mean, I could share my share of personal stories of losing private key before I start running them down, stashing that piece of paper in my wallet, whatever, in spaces that I know I have access to, and I won't leave behind.
Yeah,
So yeah,
it's important. I had a guy call me during the 2017 run up and say, "Hey, I have this this computer that had about 14,000 Bitcoin on it.
well,
Is there any way to get the private key on that?" I'm like, the other computer? No, no. Like, did you back up your private key anywhere? What's a private key? Well, there you go.
14,000. Wow, that's today's
It's a shit ton of money.
100K. So
Yeah.
it's more than 100K.
No, it's millions.
Oh, 14,000. Right,
Yeah,
right, right.
14,000 Bitcoin. Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's like 10 million.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a non-trivial amount. Anyway, so what else? Let's talk about some more of your partners.
Yeah, yeah.
So you were talking about so tell us again. So I want to remind the European Union
Blockers.
Blockbase. Yeah, so they're doing this ambassador because we got into the weeds on what the ambassador program is going to be able to do, that kind of thing, which is exactly what I like to do in the long form interviews, because that stuff is really cool. But so you were working with them to get this ambassador program going. What are they doing?
So they're the one building out the Twitter API. So
Okay.
that's why I said I couldn't see.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So they were building it, but they were building it for their own use, and they were building it in a way, again, that is using EOS accounts. Which, if you think about it, like, again, people who are on social media, doing these kind of meetings and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
might not necessarily be very tech savvy. So we came to them and said, "Hey, we're building this unified ID solution that you could take advantage of and use it in your ambassador program. And if you're willing, we will partner up. We work on this together, and we will open this up to other cryptocurrency communities to use, for like ship or whatever. Because again, like, why build your own solution just to use it, for yourself? This is something you open up and let everybody take advantage of." And again, our goal is to provide all the tools that you need to build a cryptocurrency community. So yeah, that's how that arrangement came about.
Awesome. So metal packaging token is one of the other ones, right? Yeah. So what are they doing?
Yeah. So two other partners that are very interesting: metal package token and Plum. So they both have. And the reason why we thought they were interesting partners, because their audience is actually not crypto savvy at all, right? Like metal package token, what they do is they create machines. I'm sure you see like these recycle machines before, where you put in a metal can and it gives you some change back, right? It kind of encourages you to recycle. So what they did is they built a machine. It's much more advanced version of that, and what they pay out instead of coins and whatnot is they pay out in their token, which is metal package token.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what they do. And Plum, they're building their physical machines, exercise machines that rewards you for exercising.
Yep. Yeah, we were talking about trying to create something connected to the Google API, like the fitness tracker, so we could do that with Shipple. I would still like to do that. If there's any devs that just want to make like a super simple connect to like having it go out with steps, right? Yeah. Like we're still planning on doing massive amounts of airdrops, because I mean there's 100 billion Shipple. Like some asshole decided to write that number in. It was me. we have like just a near infinite amount, right? So we want to have it go out and find as many interesting ways to do it. So I love that idea. I think especially like having the actual machines be connected to that kind of thing, like that sort of almost Internet of Things connected to blockchain, connected to cryptocurrency, is compelling. That's really cool.
Yeah. So that's the two partners. They're building machines, and again, their audience most likely aren't gonna want to use something like the EOS account just because it doesn't make sense.
And there's too much, like that barrier of entry. There's so much friction there, especially now, right? With all the CPU stuff and everything else, like we managed it, although very slowly. Like it was a huge friction point for Shipple, just because people were like, okay, you're going to give me this token that isn't worth anything, and I have to pay $7 to get an EOS account to get it. Yeah, right. And so it's awesome with the unified ID thing that second layer that you've built for the Discussions app. It just means, and we have a little video about this that you can go and check on this channel right now. It takes like 60 seconds to get an account. It's like you would get an account anywhere else. It's automatically, there. But, joining any token community, whether it's Metal Packing Token or Plum or Shipple, we're going to be able to airdrop you tokens. And as we talked about before, you're actually going to be able to send tokens back and forth with other people in the community, which for me personally, that's a huge deal for me. So yeah, cool.
So we just think it fits because again, the audience is probably not going to be interested in EOS gambling or whatever. They might be.
Right.
There's that
Maybe.
possibility.
Right, but you don't know.
Yeah, but most likely they're when they're interacting with the machine, they're not thinking about, oh, I'm gonna go use the casino, right? Like when they deposit in can, it's like, okay, I'm not gonna go to ES Casino after this. I just want my token in my wallet. So that's why we approached them. And then again, their mission, they both have like a very large community. Obviously, Metal Package Token is they're very environmentally friendly, and they have done a lot of efforts, cleaning up parks and whatnot and that's their community ethos. And we want to provide the tools for them to be able to build that community because they use their token as kind of like an energy field that they feed this community and allow it to grow. And it's just not very efficient if you're doing that through Twitter or Discord. Like there's tip bots, but they don't give you that sense of community. So what we're trying to do in the future is that we're going to build a lot more tools that kind of have recurring airdrops, or maybe if you visit the community and you could claim a little bit of token every single day to keep that
like a faucet.
Yeah, like a faucet on their specific tag. So just the tools and features that integrate their token into the platform in every single aspect to encourage people coming back and encourage them to build that community on top of it.
That's huge. So, and again, we're hopefully going to be Jacques and I are going to be doing a live on the actual event day itself on the 27th. And so stay tuned for that. I need to set up an event for that on the YouTube, maybe on Facebook and stuff as well. And with any luck, we're going to be doing interviews with all of the partner projects as well, which I just selfishly am very excited about because there's a lot of really cool ones. So I heard there was a rumor that there was a possibility that Boyd might also be playing with this particular launch event. Could you tell us a little bit about that? And then I just want to talk about Boyd for a minute. Yeah, I mean, nothing's confirmed. Caveat. Right, yeah.
We could talk about Boyd. It's a very interesting project. And I think, it's one of the more interesting projects. Again, in EOS, that's not getting a whole lot of attention.
Right.
This is why we kind of want like, hey, maybe this tool, our platform would be a good value add for you to kind of market yourself and also, build a more momentum for your project.
Right.
But yeah, Boyd is a decentralized computing service. They kind of have this similar problem where they want to build out something, a second layer that allows people to hold Boyd tokens without an EOS account. So we approached them. I was talking to John. It's like, okay, what are you working on? So, we're working on building this thing out. I was like, okay, we're working on something very similar, and we also have all these great things that we plan for the community.
Right.
And we start talking, and I can't go into more detail than that because there is some more integration. With all these partners, we're not just coming out and we're not just saying, hey, we're gonna be a partner now. And
right.
There's a lot of those in this space.
Yeah.
Every single one of our partners, when we say we're partners, we're building something together. We're really trying to see what they need, how we could adjust, or how we could help them, achieve it, and what we need, and how they could help us. It's like a close partnership.
Right.
So with Boyd, the details on that I cannot say, but there's more than just Unify ID and you can hold Boyd tokens. There are more technical integrations that we are speaking about.
That's really interesting. So for people who don't know, Boyd is basically an app you can get on your computer. And when your computer goes into rest mode, you can actually have it running the whole time if you want to, but most people just kind of use it as when you're not actually using your computer, it'll turn on and it'll start using your CPU. Right now, they're crunching cancer marker data And so, while your computer is sleeping, while you're sleeping, it's crunching cancer marker data over and over and over and over and over again. And for the amount of time that your computer is plugged in and working on the system, you get Boyd token. It's effing genius. I'm a huge fan of this, especially because of it, and it is a business model, right? They're going to be able to be a distributed computing platform that's going to be able to do that for any kind of project that wants to come and give them money, which will actually potentially also down to a higher value for the actual Boyd token itself. So that's fun. But I think one of the things that I really caught on to is how they gamified it, right? So you have tribes, so basically groups of people that can socially come together and say, okay, well, we're going to all plug as many of our computers into this as we possibly can. And, we're going to dole out rewards for the best computers that people plug into this little team and stuff. And there's, winners and there's seasons. And, they've just done some really, really interesting work on gamifying that entire process in a way that was really, really compelling. So huge shout out to Boyd. Honestly, I'd love to do an interview with John from Boyd anyway, just to get people, on board. But I would be even more excited if you guys were plugging in with what Jacques and the team at Discussions.App are doing, because that, creating an environment where all of the communities are networked and working with all the other communities is only going to make this work better, right? Yeah. That to somebody new coming in off the street, to be able to see that it's an entire ecosystem of things where you can come and plug into whatever ideas speak to you, but you kind of have access to them from central nodes like Discussions.App. I think is going to be really huge.
Yeah, I actually want to say something on that. It's kind of funny that a lot of projects, cryptocurrency projects in this space, kind of operate in their own little silo. It's like you don't really see the projects talking with each other. I think, and Boyd with the tribe system, they were actually one of the few projects that was able to really bring that community together. Like, if we weren't doing it, like Metal Package Token would not be talking to Blockbase. But now that we're relatively close, we are in Europe. We had lunch together. We talk about like how our projects are and kind of have that community. Whereas I think it's just strange to me that all these token projects are kind of siloed, but they're on the same network. So
yeah. No, I mean it makes what you guys are doing really important, I think. Yeah. For real. So is there anything else that we can talk about before closing this out? Again, I want to make sure everybody knows, stay subscribed to this channel. We're going to be doing a full day event, tons of stuff. We'll get some specific times before too long here on the 27th of January when they're doing the launch. And look over the following 30 days for specifically some Shipple things, but we're going to be doing interviews and finding out what Metal Package Token is going to be doing for the event, as well as everybody else. So is there anything else that we missed that we should kind of get in people's heads before we break?
Yeah, definitely. You should follow us on Twitter at the Nomosphere.
Obviously. Right. At Nomosphere. I'll make sure that is in the show notes. And of course we'll be tweeting this out to everybody as well.
You also follow me at what's my Jack Wells. That's my user handle. And I write a weekly newsletter, or try to write a weekly newsletter that kind of give more context to the big EOS stories that are breaking, in EOS related stories that are breaking. The latest one, we talk about, Voice's name is CEO, Salim Zalaminto, that was his name. And, I wrote an article about, well, who is this person? What's his background? And is he the right person to lead Voice? Just kind of give a bit more context to the story for the average person. So that's what I do. And definitely check out if you're interested in what we're doing with Discussions, or you're interested in holding Atmos tokens. Check out our Discord. We have public meetings every Sunday where we go over some of our strategies. How are we going to drive value into the Atmos token by creating products like Discussions and future products that I'm not going to mention just yet.
All right, sneaky. So where that on Sunday? Where would they find that?
That'll be on Discord. I usually do it on 6 p.m. Eastern time. We have public meetings.
Okay. Send me that the Discord channel link or what have you, and I'll throw all that stuff in the. That's it. I actually should come and check that out.
Yeah.
What's going on there? And so that the entire ecosystem that they're creating is going to be running on the Atmos token. I am. Just it's funny. I always want to make the caveats. I'm like, fuck caveats. Everyone fucking knows anyway. I'm extremely bullish on the Atmos token, and that's probably going to be true of every one of the interviews that I do. because there are projects that are doing effectively that might actually even be one of the rules for whether or not I'll actually do an interview. Like, would I consider a buy or a not buy? I'm holding some Atmos token already, and I'm planning on picking up some more because I think it's a really, really interesting token. I'm glad you guys are doing it.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, man. Boom.